Enough is enough. Jonathan Gannon's got to go. Let's discuss.
You are Locked On Cardinals, your daily Arizona Cardinals podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Alex Clancy, Locked On Cardinals, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the #1 sports podcast network. The Arizona Cardinals lose again by 1 million, 40-20 to the Texans. A fall to 3-11, now sitting at number 6 in the luxurious, incredible 2026 draft order. You got to love it. You got to love it, Scariest environment imaginable. How did we get here? Let's discuss. We've got a lot to talk about today. Today's episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by FanDuel. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. Positives. The biggest bright spots from yesterday. There were some. They've got long-lasting impressions. They need to be discussed. The biggest problems. How much time you got? I'll talk about that in the second segment. Kicking off, though, enough is enough. Okay, so I thought a lot last night after the game, which, I hurt my brain a little bit when I actually think, but I made an exception. And I thought, okay, two sides of the coin here is pertaining to Jonathan Gannon. Win-loss record, bad. No playoffs, bad. Defense, really bad. By all important metrics, they're bottom third in the league. And they are atop the bad with most missed tackles. Teo Mackey put out a tweet that Budda Baker has 22 missed tackles this year. Coaching. They put all the money into the defense. It's not enough. Coaching. Okay. So that's one side. The other side is everybody's been hurt, mostly on the offensive side of the ball. And you've had a revolving door on defense too. Garrett Williams on IR early in the season. Will Johnson's missed games. Walter Nolan was out for the first couple months. But by and large, yesterday they were healthy. And they got torched by a team that doesn't score points this year. They just don't score points. They ran the ball all over them. The other side is, again, injuries throughout the board. The most players on injured reserve and just unhealthy players. And the toughest strength of schedule in football. That's the other side, okay? So I've been ping-ponging back and forth. I've been going back and forth, and I've been thinking, you know what? Let him play out his contract, okay? What's the worst that could happen if you bring him back and let him play out his contract? And I think when you go back and forth on these things, the fear of the unknown creeps in. It seems the how did we get here so quickly with this team is unfair because the process seemed to be done right. The process has worked, and the outcome is so far incredibly removed from what you had expected it to be this season. Without the injuries. It doesn't matter the strength of schedule. And I'm new to the injury game, okay? I've said up until 96 hours ago that injuries are not an excuse. You got to play with who's out there. The overwhelming nature of the players who've been injured, now taking the turn on the offensive side of the ball, it's part of the plot now. But the impetus for moving off from Jonathan Gannon should be the body of work. And the part I struggled with before doing this opening segment today is he's done so much for this team outside the lines. And that's just true, man. Like you got to give him his flowers for certain things. He has brought this team out of the mud and the muck, culture-wise, leadership-wise, things like that. And while that's nice, and while that's part of the job and elevating the role, obviously it's not enough. Obviously, you have to win or this doesn't matter. And the final nail for me was the coaches have gotten fired for way less. I said this during the squad show last week. I said it during the squad show last night. Coaches have been fired for so much less. 1 year, 2 years. So the collection of things all together, another 40-point output by the opposition. That's 4 in the last 6 weeks. What more can you do? What more can you do? So you're looking at both coordinators. They're most likely not coming back. Jonathan Gannon's got 1 year left on his deal. Do you just say goodbye to all of them and start over? Do you rip the Band-Aid off? Because I'll tell you what, the one thing that the Cardinals do have going for them, the one thing that is a strength of theirs for potential new coaching staffs is this roster's pretty damn good. On paper, this is an above average roster. On paper. Everybody healthy on paper, this is an above average roster. You've got over $25 million to spend cap right now for 2026. You're going to have a top 10 pick. And the best players on this team are the young core. This is an enticing roster for guys who aren't coaches right now or who got fired or whatever it is. The Cardinals have a bargaining chip now that they didn't really have before. They've got a roster. So it's like, well, why aren't they winning? That's the nail for me. Why aren't they winning? Well, the players aren't tackling. They're not. All the juice isn't getting squeezed out of their talent like it was in 2023 when they didn't have any expectations. I don't know what happened from weeks 1 through 5 when they were giving up 19 points per game to now. I know, like for me, I know, and I've said, and I stand behind, that the Cardinals not being able to run the ball is a huge fracture in the ability to play good defense. Not being able to run the ball is a huge fracture in the ability to have a balanced offense, obviously. So, yes, the offense has something to do with it. Definitely. The injuries have something to do with it, and the strength of schedule has something to do with it. So this isn't me walking back, oh, they should bring him back. I didn't say that I think it's a good idea to bring him back. I said I would understand if they would for his last year. I would understand if they would. One more hard reset and see. With a new coordinator, with a new offensive coordinator, and potentially new DC at this point. But you look at the milk in the fridge and it's expired, it looks like. And it sucks because the proof of concept was there. And this has been such an exhaustive 3 years. And he's only had Kyler Murray for 2 total years, even a little bit less than that. So it's not as simple as like, yeah, fire everybody, get a new quarterback. Cool. Bingo, bango, bungo. It's not that simple. The Cardinals' product on the field, even though they've regressed seemingly every week, on paper, is a very enticing product to ship and sell to potential head coaches. There's a great quarterback class in 2027. They've got all their picks. They just need more of an impact maker at head coach. And I know this. Like, when I blamed injuries, this is a new thing. Everybody's hurt all the time. But when the defense continues to give up 40 burgers, I mean, got to submit. Now, the only thing is, I don't think they should do anything until the end of the year. I don't think it's necessary. Like, truly, it's not. Oh, they got to send a message. No, they don't. The message has already been sent. You do it on Black Monday like everybody else does. There's no reason to fire him 4 weeks before the season's over. It's just not necessary. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. What are the biggest problems, though? How much time you got? We'll discuss it next. This episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by Aura Frames. The holidays are officially here, which means gift-giving season is on. And if you want something meaningful, personal, and guaranteed to get a reaction, Aura Frames is the gift that delivers every time. It's not just something you wrap. It's a way to share memories because Aura isn't your average picture frame, man. You can preload the frame with photos before gifting it, so when they plug it in, the memories are already there. No apps to figure out, no setup headaches, no, just instant smiles. That's all you get. Perfect for grandparents, parents, newlyweds, anyone who loves photos. They don't have to do anything. All you have to do is plug it in and boom, you've done the legwork already because you've uploaded the photos. And it's a piece of cake. You can add a personalized message right inside the frame so the gift feels thoughtful the moment it's open. And for a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver matte frames, named #1 by Wirecutter by using promo code LOCKEDON at checkout. That's auraframes.com, promo code LOCKEDON. This deal is exclusive to listeners, and frames sell out fast. So order yours now to get it in time for the holidays. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Terms and conditions apply. Please go to the YouTube channel, search Locked On Arizona Cardinals. Hit that subscribe button, man. You know the drill. You know how we do it here. The content's not going to slow down. We are just chock full. From now until week 1 of 2026, there's going to be so much to discuss with the Cardinals having a top 10 pick, potentially top 5 when the season ends. And, this has been a tough season. There's been a lot of finger pointing, and it's hard to find some positives. I do have some. We'll talk about in the final segment. Thanks for making Locked On Cardinals your first listen of the day, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. You already live your team every day. Now take it up a level and go ad-free. Join the Everydayers Club and get Locked On Cardinals with no interruptions, members-only Discord access, and more, all for just $5 a month or $50 a year. The link is in the description, so check it out. Again, not slowing down, man. Not slowing down. One thing that isn't slowing down is the opposition being able to score on the Cardinals. The Texans scored in their first 6 possessions. Not great. I think it was the second play of the game to Nico Collins, who housed it. Not fantastic. They ran the ball for so many more yards than they've been used to of late. I mean, listen, when you 2X the Cardinals' rush attack and you quite literally were unable to run the ball in recent weeks, you got a third stringer, just rushing for over 100 yards. It's not great. Like, the thing that is difficult for me to wrap my head around is, while I don't think the team is just quit on JG, where it's like, oh, he lost the locker room, whatever it is, they're just not performing. And obviously coaching has a lot to do with that. But when they were so regimented doing the little things, even last year, the first month of this year, it's gone. It's just gone. And it's kind of, it's like, well, it's this. Okay, also, but it's this. And it's this. So Will Johnson gets shaken out of his shoes on Nico Collins' last touchdown to get them to 40. Garrett Williams gets beat across the middle by Nico Collins, who houses it, and Budda Baker was completely out of position. It's like, and then the pass rush just was non-existent. So all the money that was put in, all of the money, all of the draft picks, and leaving the offense as is going into this season from last season, it's not bearing the fruits, especially after the bye week, regardless of who's out there. Walter Owen had another sack yesterday, which is a plus. But they just look lost. The cohesion's not there. And I know getting up to play a game in week 15 as a 3-10 team is a little bit different, but I don't think it's a lack of effort. I think it's just a lack of them talent-wise as a cohesive unit on defense, and that's even worse. It seems to be even worse. Even though obviously you never want to see a team quit on their coach or whatever it is. At least there'd be an excuse as to why they weren't producing. These guys are playing hard and they're getting 40 burgers thrown at their face constantly. And if you look at the numbers on offense, like, it's not that bad. 27-40, 230 yards, 3 touchdowns for Jacoby Brissett. I know that this is a little Blake Bortles-y feel when he won people fantasy football playoffs. I think it was probably 10 years ago at this point, where he just put up 300 yards and a bunch of touchdowns because they were down 20-plus points every game. I know that it has some of that in it. Like, I get it. I watch the games too. But the bad has just been really bad, and they can't run the ball. That's not a shock. And then Bam Knight gets carted off yesterday. My biggest longing this year, above all else, not Walter Nolan playing week 1, not Marv and Michael Wilson and Trey McBride all being on the field at the same time, not the offensive line being at full strength, none of that. Kyler Murray, none of it. It's I wish I could have seen James Conner and or Trey Benson for the majority of this season in this offense to see how much it would send this team back to equilibrium and not in fight or flight mode from snap one. By the 6-minute mark, the Texans had 17 points, most they've ever scored in the first quarter in the history of their organization. And that's with Andre Johnson. That's with DeAndre Hopkins and Deshaun Watson. Never. So the biggest problems, I mean, the defense as a unit just isn't there. The pass rush is non-existent. Calais blocked the field goal. Even with Max Melton and Adrian Taylor-Emerson and Jalen Thompson out, like obviously hurts a bit when you've got Darren Hall back there, who also got injured. But if the pass rush doesn't show any sort of semblance of pressure, it doesn't matter if you've got Deion Sanders and Patrick Peterson back there. C.J. Stroud was having a tea party in the backfield all game pretty much against not a great offensive line. Can't run the ball. Can't defend. Not good. Not going to win. Hashtag analysis. What do you think the biggest issue is? What do you think the biggest problem was yesterday? Put it in the chat. What do you think the biggest issue was yesterday? Unfortunately, the bright spots were all on the offensive side of the ball, but they could only muster 20 points. And I know it's the NFL's best defense. So maybe that's a tip of the cap, even though one of them was garbage time touchdown to Michael Wilson. It's difficult to find the words when the same things keep happening to say it a different way. And that's why I did the first segment. I mean, enough is enough. Things have to change. Okay, then what? Play out this year, part ways, and try and entice, hopefully, an established front man to come and take charge here and lead this team back into win-loss relevancy. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. The biggest bright spots. These are easy, but listen, it'll be fun to talk about, right? Next. This episode of Locked On Cardinals is brought to you by FanDuel. NFL Sundays move fast. One big play, and suddenly everything feels different. And that's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets on it as action unfolds, every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. Live betting is best when the game starts to shift, a receiver gets hot, a defense tightens up, or the momentum flips after a turnover, and FanDuel lets you jump into the action. Live spreads and money lines adjust instantly. Like, say you wanted to take the over in the Cardinals game midway through the first quarter when the Texans already scored 17 points. You could do it on FanDuel. You can bet the next touchdown score, drive results, totals, and more. It keeps you locked into every snap, every drive, every possibility. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. FanDuel. The game moves fast. So can you. YouTube channel. Subscribe. Notifications on. Big dumb face every day. No articles or other words necessary for that sentence. Trey McBride's really good. Another 12 reception game. I mean, 134. 2 touchdowns. Michael Wilson, 5 for 54 on 11 targets. 2 of those should have been catches. One was a contested ball that Michael Wilson normally comes down with, and the second one was a touchdown. Jacoby Brissett put it on his numbers, which would have given him a 2-touchdown game. Same with Trey McBride. So it's difficult to really crunch numbers when a lot of it, again, is in garbage time when they're down 2, if not 3 scores in the fourth quarter, things like that. But I can guarantee D'Amico Ryan's et al.'s defensive game plan was to stop Trey McBride, and they couldn't. Again, Trey McBride's just shattering records. He's making the difficult look easy. He's the only guy who can really tip this guy. I know Michael Wilson's, he's had a few games too, but like Trey McBride's the alpha. Nobody can guard him. Nobody can defend him. He runs great routes. He's the perfect mix of Travis Kelce and George Kittle. He knows his angles so well, like Travis Kelce. That's what made Travis Kelce's never been the fastest. He's just always known his angles. He knows where to sit down in his zone and he's got a nose for the end zone. And George Kittle's just a wrecking ball. And Trey McBride has both. 12 for 134, 2 touchdowns. Gotta love it. Michael Wilson gets in the end zone again on a tough catch, like a very, very difficult catch along the sideline with the defender draped all over him. Extend him. And finally, and probably most surprisingly, and this isn't like backhanded compliment or anything, the offensive line's played great the last 3 weeks. 7 total sacks. John Gaines at left guard, Isaiah Adams at right guard, outside of 1 sack given up by Isaiah Adams and a bad holding call. He played pretty well. And you have Josh Fryer and Kelvin Beachum at the tackles. Like, they looked really good against the best defensive front in football, or at least one of the top 3. So that's against the Rams and the Texans. 2 of the last 3 weeks. Look good. 4 total sacks in those 2 games. Like, that is, and this is, like, these teams are out for blood. They know Jacoby Brissett's going to stand in the pocket. And these teams need to make pushes to go atop their respective divisions. And the Cardinals' backup offensive lineman played very, very well. So you got to give them their flowers. And with Jacoby Brissett, listen, I know that the numbers are, some of them are garbage time. I know that. I watch. But for the amount of times, it was a bad interception in the end zone. It was a bad interception. And 27-30, 230 yards, 3 touchdowns, and that bad pick. Like, the offense, that's going to be the biggest question. Are the numbers that Jacoby Brissett is putting up enough for them to have him the leader in the clubhouse to be quarterback in 2026? I don't know. It's way too early. So many things can happen. Who knows? They could trade for Joe Burrow, man. Kyler Murray and 2 firsts for Joe Burrow, or Kyler Murray in the 6th overall pick and a 2nd for Joe Burrow. Crazier things have happened. I'm joking. The bright spots have long-lasting effects. And I say that every time we talk about the bright spots, because this isn't like, oh man, you know what? Dalvin Tomlinson's really having a career year. He's going to be, he's going to retire. He's going to be retired in 3 years or something. Calais Campbell resurrected his career. He's going to be gone in 2 years. You'd think. I mean, he could play until he's 50. Who knows? But when you have guys like Trey McBride, who's young, Michael Wilson, young, the offensive line, by and large, outside of Kelvin Beachum, young. And when you got Paris coming back, I'm hoping they'll draft the best right tackle in football, or the best right tackle in the draft in 2026. You got Walter Nolan, who's shown flashes when he's on the field of being the game record that you hoped he was going to be when you drafted him at 16. Will Johnson is turned into the rookie pumpkin. Okay. He's never played this many games in his career. This is the time of year that it happens for rookies if it's going to happen. But he's shown enough. Like, let's be fair here. He's shown plenty to show that he's not some sort of bust that the Cardinals took in the 2nd round who was supposed to go in the 1st round, but dropped to the 2nd round for a reason. No shot. And he's only going to get better. Denzel Burke has played pretty well this year, man. They've got young, and Cody Simons played well. He got hurt and came back in, but like, he's not been a game wrecker either. But it's not like, oh, these guys should not be on the field yet. Denzel Burke a little bit. He got burned a couple times early in his career. And then, his worst football was during the preseason. Which is crazy. So, listen, it's not good. Hashtag analysis. That's twice in this show. That's a record. It's not even kind of bad. This is cataclysmic, what we're looking at right now with this team. Having said that, there are a couple roses in the dust storm that will shine bright for years to come for this team. Michael Wilson needs an extension this offseason. He's shown plenty. You do it a year early because he's still under contract in 2026. He's making like $1 million. You do it early. You get ahead of the curve. You do not want him to hit free agency. You figure out what you do at the quarterback position. You've got Trey McBride. You've got Marv. Hopefully he comes back. At this point, I don't know if Marv is going to come back this year. Is this kind of like the sneaky, let's just sit him out another week. Oh, season any IR in week 17. it seemed like he wasn't close, what Jonathan Gannon said with his heel. It seemed like he wasn't close to playing this week. So maybe another week will do it, but it seemed like he wasn't close. The Arizona Cardinals need to move off of Jonathan Gannon by every single metric inside the lines. By every single metric, especially this year. The thing I struggled with was what he's done for this team outside of it. And maybe he's just the bridge guy that would, power wash the dysfunction that this team is held so tightly to their chest pretty much since their inception. They're losing. It's bad. And it still feels different than it did before. But if I, just razzed Cliff Kingsbury for all the things that he did wrong, it's only fair to do that to Jonathan Gannon when enough is enough. Locked On Cardinals, your team every day. We'll discuss this from all the angles necessary throughout the week. Remember, without you, there is no me. I'll talk to you tomorrow.